Greetings everyone, Cyberyoga here. It's a beautiful Saturday and I'm happy to produce this video. And today's topic or the statement is about Cyberyoga Movement Meditation Philosophy. Basically very simple on my philosophy of movement, how I go about it, my training methods, the purpose, the intention, all of it. And yeah, basically how I started off, as everyone knows, I got into Cyberyoga was born from different disciplines within my movement and my practice. Number one would have to be hip hop dance, breaking, then acrobatics, circus, then contemporary, modern, and yoga fusion. So it's more like a hybrid fusion of my practice. And 26, 27 years of moving, you kind of like understand mechanics of movement, how to go about it, and you kind of learn from trial and error of your mistakes, what you've learned, what you're willing to learn. And I would say at the end of the practice, I learned how to make it about it charging. So that's why I came with the term about movement meditation. People find peace in meditation, and that's silence of the mind, the body, spirit. Everyone has their own perspective, but for me, I found a way of meditating through movement. The movement itself is the meditation because I'm in my zen, in my flow. I don't necessarily have to be sitting or still, but I can find my peace and my clarity through the movement. And so I set the intention about finding connections, finding pathways, allowing myself to vent and to release through the movement. And that's the intention. Really important to make it about the intention. What is my intention? Well, before, my dance practice was really bent on, competition and ego and who's better. Of course, that helps with the practice. Of course, obviously, there's goals but as I aged and healed, still working on my growth, I'm understanding that my practice should be about self-sourcing and charging. So that's why I coined the term movement meditation. A lot of the movements that you see are more bent on in the form of charging and healing for others and for myself. And I will clearly demonstrate that in the video. But yes, my philosophy around movement is very simple. These three key things is the flexibility, strength, and movement. Flexibility, strength, movement, interfaced with spirituality. So of course you can't have none of this without God. And so you have the presence and the divine spark of God. But now moving is important. Moving is expressing, venting, releasing, fluidity, motion. And the strength is another component as well. You have the strength, and then there's the balance. So those all put together is kind of like the bulk components of what Cyberyoga is. And later on down the line, I share more of my practices with you all. So I'm going to demonstrate a small little flow and go from there. Thank you all for watching and enjoy. So as I've stated before, it's really important to, I guess my philosophy on more of the movement is about everything being conscious. You're being conscious about your environment, your intention, what you're doing it, why you're doing it. And 26 years of moving, I kind of just understood the deeper components of why I'm doing it. And if my goal is to empower and inspire others, everything has to be intentional, not through aesthetic, but more of a feeling too. So, for instance, I feel really caught with the shapes and the geometry of the movements, right? So I prefer to actually dance outdoors, outside. Of course, if there's like smooth concrete over, but my ideal place for movement would be typically outside. And now just learning how to feel, move, everything slow, breathing. So for me, everything here is a form of meditation. I'm breathing, connecting, learning how to connect with, I guess, through spirit, if that makes any sense. You know, I've been dancing for so long. The premature stages were very basic, learning how to find my way, find my style. But through time, I kind of just learned how to, through repetition, you kind of discover new things. And now I'm learning about fluidity is really important. Being fluid in the motions, right? Being fluid is great. Fluid and not rigidity. Of course, before I started out very rigid and I wasn't really understanding the deeper components, but as I started to heal, my healing journey, I started to integrate more fluidity. Of course, my partner, my wife, she helped me with the component of moving and the fluidity. Fluidity is really important. But most importantly, the strength aspect. So here, arm balances, really important component, right? So we have the movement, the strength, then mobility. Flexibility is important. Because that helps with the balance of all three. So the movement, the flexibility, and the balance. All those are huge components for what the Cyberyoga concept is all about. It's about those merging. So if you notice in my videos, you see the sequence, they're always a fusion of different things. So basically, in closing, the marriage of all three components of the strength, the flexibility, and the movement is my foundation. Sorry about the noise. But it really helps me have a reference point of how to move and the intention about what I'm sharing with the audience and how I'm charging myself. So I make it a point to really incorporate all three. And the most important component too is learning how to have fun throughout the practice, not being hard on yourself. I used to be very hard on myself, very challenging, the movement. But just more about when I started to integrate the flexibility component. See, right now my body is actually tired, so I've been training a lot. So even right now, my body's saying, hey, no time to stretch. I need to rest and relax. So learning how to honor yourself and respecting yourself, your body. The mind and body is unison and they're not separate. So learning how to be in tune and conscious of that, really important. So I'm going to close off with this episode and stay tuned for more. And this is the Cyberyoga Movement Meditation Philosophy. And if you have any comments, or please share your comments in what ways. This Cyberyoga is created and built for anybody with the body. So if you have any concerns or comments, please share. I'd like to hear your thoughts. And what ways are you moving, and are you meditating while you're moving? And see you in the next one. Blessings.